where heart-led visionary leaders create legacy of impact and income through the channel of entrepreneurship and do more good in the world. You will get access to all our amazing speakers today and walk away with great wisdom and inspiration so that you can level up yourself and your business to the next level. All right, everybody, we're always ready to level up here at the Life School. Thank you so much for joining me for another beautiful event here where we put together purpose-driven entrepreneurs and CEOs that are doing amazing work out there in the world, impacting other people and contributing towards our society. So I'm so honored to be able to have another amazing setup lineup of speakers today, all sharing with you a lot of value around their areas and work that I know you will walk away with great nuggets of implementation. I think that's where we are. Implementation is where results lie and where magic is. So before I bring on speakers onto our virtual stage today, I'd love to remind you that this event is brought to you by the Life School. The Life School helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs, driven leaders to build legacy companies that do more good in the world through branding, marketing, sales, systems, and teams. Our vision is to empower purpose-driven leaders to use their life's purpose through legacy entrepreneurship. And then our mission is to become the most impactful global community, purposeful entrepreneurship. And then lastly, what is a community without values? Our values are community, connection, service, and contribution. We all unite under those values. So without further ado, I'd love to say hi to my amazing speaker panel today, joining us really globally from all around the world. We were just connecting a little before the event, and we have everybody from the East Coast, West Coast, everywhere. So we're just so blessed to be able to use these channels today to have these conversations and connect with other amazing humans that really believe in their mission, their purpose, their vocation, and they're creating amazing results in the world for people. So yeah, I'm always honored. I'm always learning. That's why I call every event its own masterclass, because there's so much energy that gets created just through our conversations. So without further ado, I would love to invite my first speaker onto our virtual stage, Rolita Clark. Rolita, thank you so much for coming on today, for your time, and also for the amazing wisdom that you will share with us. I will usually start off my speakers with the same question because I'm always looking to uncover some of the purpose behind the work you do. Can you share some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you're doing in the world?
Absolutely. So, my premise and reason for why I actually started my business is my dad. My dad was a serial entrepreneur, and he had businesses ranging from a formal menswear shop all the way to gas stations. So he had a plethora of businesses that started, and just seeing him do that as I grew up was my motivation behind wanting to start my business and wanting to go back and continue the legacy that my father has created. He passed away in December of 2021, so I'm still forging forward with his legacy of continuing entrepreneurship in our family. And also, my grandfather owned a small convenience store in Falls Church, Virginia, which is still standing, but it's owned by another family now. So it's a family legacy that actually motivated me to be where I'm at today.
Wow, that is beautiful. So you actually had that role modeling, which I know in my case, I didn't always have entrepreneurs in my family, but you're so blessed to be able to continue your dad's legacy, and I'm sure that gives you a lot of emotional juice, so to speak, when you are, going through the growing pains of actually growing a company, which it's not for the faint-hearted. It's always for the people that are looking to grow. So, Relita, based on your beautiful introduction and the purpose behind the work, how do you specifically? What is the problem that you solve in the world? Let's start with that.
Absolutely. So, my organization's name is Twin Pearls Consulting Agency, and we are an agency that helps aspiring entrepreneurs legitimize their business on a state and federal level. So, we do the LLC filings, incorporations, nonprofits. We help the entrepreneurs solidify a strong foundation so that they can continue to grow and scale their business. We do a lot of our services through education, consulting, and coaching, where we not only help them get the foundation set up, but we also provide the why behind operations. Why do you need to have certain systems in place? Why do you need to have policies and procedures in place? And what you really need to do as far as creating a strategic plan in order to grow and scale the business to where you foresee the business going.
Oh, amazing. So you must be a gem of resources then. So based on the work that you do with your clients, Relita, what is that education piece that you usually repeat that you want your clients to be aware of that you could share with us as well?
Yes, so I'm really big on compliance. A lot of people will start a business and not understand why you need to have the right documentation in place, why you need to have the right structure in place, ensuring that you file your taxes, right? So helping them to remain compliant in the business and also teaching them the different nuances of what happens from a tax perspective, from actually having a bookkeeping and reporting system that you can output cash flow and balance sheets and income statements. So it's really that understanding behind the business, because I see a lot of times that entrepreneurs will come to me and they're like, I have a hobby and I want to start a business, but I don't know where to start. So helping them to understand the beginning, we're going to start at A and we're going to go to Z. We might even surpass Z, right? But we still want to make sure that we have that foundational education so that you can remain compliant in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the operational approach that you have because it's so confusing unless you have connected all the dots prior to growing a business to be able to understand what are the right steps of implementation and what is the right focus that someone needs to focus on depending on the level of growth and journey and level and stage and phase of the business they're in, right? So
Yes.
focusing on the right problem solving for the right stage of your business is very important in us being successful with it and being able to align our purpose with profit. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for sharing all the beautiful work that you're doing out there. And wait for me. I'll come back to you at the end for more
Thank
research.
you.
My pleasure. Moving on to my next guest speaker, Tony Guernascia. Tony, did I butcher your last name? I'm so sorry. Welcome back to this beautiful speaker panel today. Looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. I know you've been here before, but we have new people always joining us. So can you share a few of the most meaningful moments for you that led you to what you do today? Tony, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry about that. My audio went out. Can you repeat the question?
Welcome. And I wanted for you to share a few of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work you're doing so that we can get to know you.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in small business. My parents had a small Italian bakery and amazing bakers. Unfortunately, they didn't know what they didn't know about growing a business. And so at just 12 years old, we lost everything. We lost the house, lost the car, and unfortunately even had to give my dog away for a period of time. And so it was a really challenging time. And so it kind of led me to where I am today, though. And so what I wanted to do was kind of fix the past in a sense. So went on to business school and studied management and launched kind of one of the first online bakeries and had a decent level of success out of the gate, but then ultimately that business failed as well. And so it kind of led me on the quest to understand what makes the best businesses work. And so I thought, okay, to be the best, you need to work with the best. So I went on roughly a decade-long journey to work with some of the top companies in the world, like Google, like Ford, like ADP, and that really led me to where I am today, which is my mission to democratize marketing and really share what I learned working with some of the best companies with kind of all the other companies. So it was kind of a journey over the years, but I'm grateful for it because it's positioned me for where I am today. And today I'm taking that same concept and applying it into a specific niche, which is podcasting. And my mission today is now to make podcasting profitable.
Yeah. Well, I love, and there's so many channels to market, and podcasting could be a very powerful channel to market. And for most people, there's always around a lot of confusion around, okay, we know that that's a really great way to reach our audience, but how do we actually reach the other two stages of being able to monetize our podcast and grow it and monetize it, right? Those are the next levels of, just like anything with the business. We reach those levels intuitively once you've been able to be consistent and your show has some traction and you've been able to provide value for some amount of time. So based on that, Tony, or based on your process and approach, or what is it that you know that we don't know? How do we grow our podcast and are able to monetize it so that for most of us, it could become its own product? If that's a main business model for people that love to do this and are looking to treat it that way.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. A lot of people quit, unfortunately. There's a whole term called pod fade, where people just stop podcasting because they're not profitable. And so how do you define profitability? Well, a lot of times it's one of three things. People want to either grow their audience, they want to grow their income, and then want to grow their impact. And so a good place to start is with your audience. So how are you growing your audience? And there's a number of ways to do that. You can do it through co-marketing, which is where you team up with other people and they promote your show. So for instance, you have a guest on your show. Best practice is to make sure that you're sharing all the marketing assets from that interview with the guest so that they can expose you to their audience. So that's a great way to do it. But in terms of profitability, so once you have your audience, how do you actually monetize it? Because I think that's the question you had. Well, there's a few models on how to do that. The first way is to have your ideal prospect on your show as a guest, because you get the opportunity to build a relationship with them, get some rapport, and ultimately that can lead into a sales opportunity. Second thing that you can do is with those guests, you can turn them into partners. So a great way to get joint venture partners or affiliate partners is to have them on your show and then turn that into a partnership opportunity where they would promote you to their list, to their audience. Another way to monetize is through sponsorships. So this is where sponsors would support your show. A mistake that a lot of people make is they focus just on their audience of listeners, where if you're doing a true sponsorship, you're taking inventory of all your assets. So for instance, do you have an email list? Do you have a social media following? And so one of the things my software does is help you package all those individual value properties, which could be, again, social media, could be a blog, could be a website, etc. And then the last way is through the listeners themselves, so getting them to buy. And most people focus on monetizing listeners, but that takes time to grow, which is where a lot of people get frustration because they're trying to monetize the most difficult area. So hopefully that answers your question.
I love that. And it all begins with a clear strategy.
Audio keeps on cutting out. I apologize. Maybe put it in the chat. I don't know why my audio keeps on cutting out here, but I can't hear you now, unfortunately.
You can't hear me? Oh, I can hear you loud and clear, so I'm not sure why.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now, Tony?
I can, yeah. Something must be wrong with my headset, but go ahead.
No worries. My other question is, I love everything you shared, and just like anything, we all know that, a clear strategy around how to have that clear marketing plan for our podcast is also important, right? Because sometimes it's just one of those things that we begin because maybe we've seen other people do it, or maybe we had a personal experience with podcasting. That was my story, is how I started to get into this whole field. And I had a special passion for being able to use it also because it was so familiar to me, right? So everybody starts in the journey in all the different ways to get into podcasting. But my question for you intuitively, just based on what you shared, is the value proposition. How do we position our podcast with that clear value proposition so that we can attract, or I guess that's the right word, or collaborate or attract other audiences and other people that maybe can join us in the venture of the podcast, and helping them also share their message with the world so that we can grow and we can tap into other audiences.
Got it. So your question is, how do you position it to be different so that people are attracted to you? And Is that what's your question specifically?
Yeah. So I was asking, once you have some traction with your podcast and you've grown your audience, right? And you've been consistent for sometimes it could be years, right? But I think that once you know what you're doing, you could do it in a shorter amount of time. How do we position our podcast, and what are those factors in the value proposition of our podcast so that we attract the right people that want to support our podcast to grow it?
Yeah, so I'll take this up a level into marketing itself. So if you want to have success in marketing and really in sales, you need three things, and they all have to be in alignment. If one of them is off, you're not going to have success. And so the first thing you have to understand is who is your audience, and the more specific, the better. A lot of people are too broad, and a lot of time in podcasting itself, people just want to jump in and start recording without really thinking through specifically who they want to serve. Once you know who you want to serve, you then will have to know how you're going to communicate. And so your impact is a direct result of your communication. You might have the cure for cancer, but if you can't communicate it properly, it's not going to get traction. It's not going to go anywhere. And so the second component is your messaging, which is basically really having down who you're going to serve, why they need you, and really why they want to work with you as opposed to anyone else or do anything at all. And it might be work with you. Why would they want to listen to you instead of anyone else? Why would they want to watch you instead of anyone else? But really identifying the why, because your competition isn't just the other people that do what you do. It's really a competition for attention. And so I could be on TikTok, I could be on YouTube, I could be watching TV. And so answering that why is critical, and your messaging is how you do that. And then the third part in terms of monetization is your offer. And so you want to have an offer that's very compelling. And so it's not to get too nerdy here, it's 3 to the third power. So it's 9. You have a 1 in 9 chance of having success. In other words, if you might have a great message, but if your offer is bad, you're not going to have success. And same thing, you might have an amazing offer, but if you can't communicate. So you need to have all 3 of those in alignment to have success. Once you have that, you'll start becoming attractive to your ideal prospects. And that's when you'll really start getting momentum, or what I call a podcast flywheel.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for connecting those dots, because just like you said, you could have one of those, but understanding how to align the rest of those is going to make sure that you are more efficient and you can leverage your podcast better, depending on everybody's goals. So thank you, Tony, again, and thanks for joining us, and I'll come back to you at the end as well.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Beautiful. Moving on to my next guest speaker today, I'm going to call on Deb Munfet. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, Deb. Welcome.
Welcome. That was perfect.
Thank you so much for being here. And same question for you. If you could share some of the most meaningful moments behind your work.
Okay. Well, I always was interested in other people's strengths and what makes them unique. And I was born a creative, basically. And I started with art, and then I went into computer graphics, and then into digital transformation. And it's always been so exciting for me because I like to see the world moving forward. And so I actually was working in corporate. I have 30 plus years total in business. And in corporate, I spent 2 decades working with big brands like Coca-Cola, Playtex, and Warner Brothers on all new technologies. And then 10 years in my own content marketing business, doing projects for companies like Google, Telit, and Intel. And also with Customer Engagement Magazine with brands like Barney's New York. And so I compiled all my experiences because I just saw a gap missing, and that was really focusing on the customer, keeping the customer at the center of your business. And so during COVID, when things kind of went awry and I lost several contracts, I got into a group of entrepreneurs, and I realized that, they really wanted to make changes, and they really wanted to design their business so that they could help and make an impact in the world. So I just dug in, and I said, well, I've done all this transformation stuff. I can certainly help these entrepreneurs get through this transformation from the pandemic into a new way of working and living. And so I took everything I had from my past 30 years, and I've actually studied with over 10 of the biggest entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurial industry. And I'm even a copy coach for PR Stars Mastermind, award-winning publicist and visibility expert Heather Burgett. And I got a certificate in Experience Product Masterclass with Marisa Murgatroyd to create products that keep customers engaged and excited, because that's really important. If you can't keep your customers engaged and excited, you're going to lose them, and then you really won't be able to make an impact or an income at the same time. So I connected all the dots and combined all of my experience and done a ton of research, and I created mindful attraction marketing. And it's a way for businesses, whether you're entrepreneur, small business, or even a bigger business, is to put the mindfulness into your marketing. There's just too much noise out there. Like even with AI, AI is great, and there's a lot of things you can do with it, but you've got to keep the customer, you've got to keep the person in mind. But not only that, it's really important for people to understand themselves first, because if they're building a business, they can build this business, but then all of a sudden, they get really tired, or they're overwhelmed, or they have self-doubt sets in. And I've also discovered that self-doubt isn't something that you totally get rid of. Self-doubt actually is something that probably will stay with you forever. You just have to really learn how to navigate it. So I'm hoping to help entrepreneurs really get their businesses out there and navigate through things like self-doubt.
Yeah, I'm so glad you have also connected all the dots of your past experience and have used your valuable experience and expertise with now helping entrepreneurs and mindful marketing. I love the term, right? Authenticity, understanding how to connect with our audience, because we're all striving, we all lack, and we're all dying for connection at the end of the day, right? So through all the different methods and technology evolving and all of that, the human connection, I don't think that will ever go away. So utilizing our marketing to be able to connect with the right people and stay top of mind as we build that know, like, and trust with them, I think it's one of the most important pieces that we do, whether it's with our clients or with our teams or with our communities. It's all the same thing, and the base and the core of that is always the mindful trust building that we get to be able to do as far as relationships. So Deb, I'm curious to know your specific process around mindful marketing, and how do you actually work with your clients to help them instill the mindful piece in their marketing?
Okay. Well, one thing, I'm a creativity expert, so I really help people with their creativity, and everybody has creativity in them. They just need help in getting it out. And what I do is the basis of all of for my entire process is based around three core human entrepreneurial desires, and they are growing, belonging, and mattering. And your whole process is focused on those three, because those are the real core needs that people have, especially in business. And I also, it expands kind of like into a tightrope. So everything you do is based on growing, belonging, and mattering. And there, I'm simplifying the process of marketing and your business into three areas, basically three pillars of action, creative experiences, and education. So everything you do should revolve around those three, and they will each of those will actually fall into growing, belonging, and mattering. So you don't even have to really think about it in the end. So I help entrepreneurs really simplify their marketing and their business to focus on their strengths.
Oh, love that. I love that you have those pillars that you work under, and also the creativity piece, because um, the whole journey or vehicle of entrepreneurship is all about creativity, right? And finding unique ways to solve problems, and looking and growing our intuition to find gaps in the marketplace and be able to align that with our messaging. So just the ongoing process of tapping into that, I've also learned that is one of the most powerful assets we all have, and something that can never be competitive, right? Because
Right.
we're all so unique in the way that we look at the world. So there you go. That answers the how do I stay competitive and in the world with where other people are doing similar things. But yeah, that creativity and unique piece, the way you look at the world, is you're only one. So you're able to do that, and also use that creativity with your teams as well. You become even more powerful. That's what I've learned over time, right? Because then you have other unique individuals adding their experiences, worldviews, perspectives onto the company. So you're just creating a beautiful asset.
And the big thing that I found too is that one important aspect of this is the mattering part. People have to realize that they matter. So if they get the proper education, they can take their information and turn it into knowledge and wisdom so that they realize that they do have value and they do matter. And that makes a big difference.
I love that you've connected it to our natural human needs, right? Because every person, at the end of the day, we just go about it different ways, but we're all looking for all those three values that you mentioned. So beautiful work, Deb. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for sharing. And I'll come back to you at the end as well. And I would love to go to my next speaker. I'd like to invite Robin Engelson onto our virtual stage. Robin, thank you so much for being here. And same question for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here. So my story and the reason why I do what I do, it's my heart work. So I am an autoimmune expert. When my first son was 3.5 years old, I went in for blood work for something else, and I came out with an autoimmune disease. An autoimmune disease is the silent disease. There's no visible ways. It's just how you feel and things that happen to your body internally. And you can imagine how shocking that is when you come out. And of course, no one can discuss anything. You have to talk with your doctors. And then you have to go from doctor to doctor to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. Well, on my journey of 2.5 years of actually getting sicker and sicker after I was diagnosed, because I didn't realize I had any symptoms, because again, it's the silent disease, learning that I was allergic to the medication that was prescribed because of the fillers that are in it, and not being able to take care of my son, getting worse and worse and worse, sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day, not being able to get out of bed, my hair falling out, my knees buckling, my bones aching, my nails brittle, literally laying on the couch while my 3.5-year-old was trying to eat his lunch. I mean, it was miserable. I had to quit my 6+ figure income job and take care of myself. And what I learned from this experience is that everything is happening for us, not to us. And I was able to figure out how to help myself. And it's not the doctors that help me, it's me that help me, because if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And the mere word impossible says I'm possible. And so I found functional medicine, and functional medicine looks at your body as a whole instead of looking at one in particular part and going from doctor to doctor for different parts of your body. And through this healing journey and finding functional medicine, getting on the hyperallergenic version of the thyroid medication that I needed to have for my body, plus a compounded medication that no traditional doctor prescribes because they don't get paid on it, I was able to help myself and learned about nutrition, learned about exercise. You know, I always thought I was healthy, but I needed to be healthy for my autoimmune disease and fueling my body with foods that fueled me. And finding exercises that would help me. I was a cardio junkie, and I realized that I needed to start lifting. You know, being an athlete my whole life, yes, I was lifting, but for that sport and weight and training. But I needed to do weights that were good for me and my body and my autoimmune disease to get better, to be able to have the strength to get out of bed, to literally have the strength and mental capacity to take care of myself and do the daily tasks that are needed to help my son. And also having the accountability of investing in myself to find coaches that could help me change my mindset as a model of positive change. And so through that healing journey of 2.5 years, people started asking what I was doing, because when you're miserable, listen, no, you don't want to talk to anybody. You're not on social media, and you really just live a really dark, quiet life. And when you start to feel good and you start to energize yourself naturally through the healing that you're doing internally, looking truly inside out, people start noticing. You start glowing from the inside out, and people want to know what you're doing. And through that, my Impact You company was born. And what I do now is I am able to help other corporate moms be the model of positive change that have autoimmune diseases. So I am the autoimmune expert for them. I've been there, done that. You know, I understand their tribulations and trials and what they're going through on a daily basis. So I'm able to help them through nutrition, fitness, mindset, and accountability to help them thrive, to help them get that promotion they want, to help them get out of bed and be able to thrive throughout the entire day, and also come home and run their kids around ragged, play with them, take them to every sporting activity, whatever activity they're doing, make dinner, and not collapse on the couch and not say, I'll play with you later, and miss out on the most important thing, which is the gift of our children. And so what I do is healing work. It is my heart work. I am grateful for my autoimmune disease. I am grateful I was able to change my mindset as a model of positive change. And I am grateful beyond measure to help other corporate moms with autoimmune diseases start living instead of existing.
Wow, beautiful, Robin. I mean, your pain turned into your purpose now with helping other women that are going through similar things. I love that. So what are some of the things that you can share with us if somebody, for anyone that resonates with your message or the way that you also help your clients, some of the principles that you use in your work? And I know you tapped into a few of those, but if you can go a little bit deeper so that we have a better understanding. What are some of those things that we need to learn so that we can improve our life quality, overall life quality, with some of the things that you have learned as well?
Of course. So first, I want people to understand, if you have an autoimmune disease, it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault you have it. It's how you were dealt cards. It's the cards you were dealt. It's in your DNA, right? And it's the environment. And it's nothing that you can do to prevent it. You were born to have it. And understand that it's okay, right? I'm here to help and give you hope because I know what it's like to not get out of bed and not take care of your kids. I know what it's like to be at a conference table with your colleagues and not remember what someone said 2 minutes ago, or remember the name of the person sitting next to you. I've been there. I've done that. I'm at the same table that you're at right now. And what I get to do for you is give you hope. I get to help you change your mindset as a model of positive change. I get to help you customize that simple nutrition plan that will get you through the day, fueling your body with the proper nutrients that fuels your body for your autoimmune disease and helps you understand what your body needs. So you can have clarity. So you can have brain focus. So your hair doesn't fall out and actually grows back. So your nails grow in longer. So you have that discipline on a daily basis to understand what it takes to move forward in your life, and that you are not stuck. You are never stuck. You are capable of anything. You are going to get that promotion. You are going to be energized at all of your kids' sporting activities or whatever activity they're doing after school. I get to be your accountability buddy. I get to be your cheerleader. I get to hold you accountable, right? We get to create things in your accountability tracker that literally on a daily basis are so simple, but it's the small daily wins that get us to the bigger goal. So I get to help you be consistent. 30 days to change a habit, 90 days to change your lifestyle, right? And I also get to help you with your fitness. You may not have the energy right now. I know what it's like. I've been there. I know how you feel. What I found is that when you customize the activities that you're doing on a daily basis to work with you instead of against you, you're just going to feel better. You are just going to feel better, right? So, and we're also going to work with your mindset, because your mindset, listen, if you don't get your mindset straight and right with your autoimmune disease and being okay with it, then you are never going to be able to change. So I help you with your mindset, and everything stems from our childhood. We are a product of our childhood. However, I get to help you rewrite your story so you can be that model of positive change with your autoimmune disease as a mom, as a corporate executive, as a person, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, whomever you are, what you identify with. Okay? So that mindset is incredibly important. And we work on that first so we can help change that and say, you know what? I get to get up today. I get to wake up. It's a blessing. I get to fuel my body with the proper nutrition. That's a blessing. I get to understand nutrition, not just fueling my body, but understanding what nutrition I need to serve my body for my autoimmune disease. Not all autoimmune diseases are created equal, right? I have Hashimoto's thyroid autoimmune disease and psoriasis. And someone, if someone else has Hashimoto's, it doesn't mean that we have everything the same. It means that we have the same diagnosis. But I get to help you map out your plan for your life and help you change your life as a model of positive change so you can fuel your body with the proper nutrition. So when you're at the grocery store, you know what to look for. And you're not just thinking, oh, this might be healthy, that might be. No, you know that it's healthy for you and your autoimmune disease, right? And then we work on that, and I help give you tools to put in your toolbox. So when you're not working with me, you still have those, right? Because you've been a model of positive change and you understand what to do. We get to reframe who you are who you show up, how you are being on a daily basis to be that model of positive change through nutrition, fitness, mindset, and accountability.
Wow, Robin, thank you so much for sharing that. Talk about passion behind your message. I love it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service. It's
Absolutely. Thank you.
amazing the work that you are doing and all the amazing people doing here, and so many more other purpose-driven entrepreneurs that are doing out there in the world. I really believe that this is how we can create meaningful change, right? By all uniting and doing this work in our spaces. So yeah, wow, goosebumps. Thank you so much for sharing that. I would love to call on Carolyn C.J. Jones. I had a beautiful connection with her when we met. So Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today. And same question for you. Can you share a few of the most meaningful moments that led you to what you do today and how you help and serve others?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me on. This is great.
My pleasure. You are in the right room because you're also very, very passionate about the work that you do. At least that's what connected with me. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. I am very passionate about what I do, and here's how it happened. In 2003, I was doing a self-appraisal. I was looking specifically at the ways in which my behavior had led to the demise of relationships with the 3 close men in my life. And what I realized was I used to get upset and yell and scream at them that they were worthless and would never amount to anything. Oh, I was horrified when I realized that. And the thing is, I didn't even mean it about them. I meant it about myself. With that, I had an aha moment, and it was logical. If that was the case, it was logical that all those years my father called me worthless and said I would never amount to anything. He meant it about himself. This was life changing because suddenly I realized, Petey, lie down. Pardon me. Lie down.
He is
Lie
joining us.
down. Good guy. Good guy. Suddenly I realized that he didn't mean about me what he said, that I was worthless. I suddenly for him. I felt like he wasn't even my father. I just saw him as another human being who was worthless just like me, who felt worthless just like me.
Mm.
I
Mm.
I had compassion for him, and within a year, I went back and forth between anger because I had resented him for 30 years. I went back and forth between anger and resentment until in about a year, I realized one day I had forgiven him.
Mm.
That was the most freeing feeling I have ever felt in my life. And I believed that there were many other people who had resentments, probably many from childhood, and that I had a key to unlock that resentment and learn to forgive. And so I started learning to talk to people about their difficulties, their resentments, and leading them through to forgiveness. I developed a program called the Yippee Method. And I named it that so you could go, yippee, I'm going to find peace. I'm going to find freedom.
Yeah.
Yippee is an acronym. It stands for yearn, investigate, process, practice, empower, and evolve. Evolve and then empower. I'm sorry.
Carolyn, before you get into your framework, wow, what a powerful story. And I think we all can resonate to that in a way or another. And the fact that we're all mirrors for other people. So that when we heal these resentments and find that freedom within ourselves, then we can also be of service to others so that we stop the toxic chain of events that have happened. So I think this work is foundational for sure. So go into the framework that how you also teach others to be able to overcome their heal the resentments. I guess that's the right approach to the
Yeah.
work that you do. So give us a little more detail or insight around your unique method of how you do that.
Okay, it's through the Yippie method, and we start looking with awareness, and we look with awareness, and then morph into willingness, and then we move to acceptance, and finally gratitude. With gratitude, we're able to look on and do an appraisal of our resentments and look closely at them, and then we process them with great writing exercises that allow us to see from a different standpoint. Then we get to the evolved stage and we look we do a self-appraisal and we look at our strong points, our weak points, and we look at how they can both serve us. And then we move into the empower stage, which is that's all about forgiveness. And we realize through doing our appraisal that we can learn to forgive and we can have compassion. This is an exercise in compassion. And with that, at the end of the Yippie method, people are generally feeling like they have forgiven. And if it doesn't come right away, it will come, given time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you also for your service and all the amazing work that you're doing out there. I'll definitely come back to you at the end as well for more insight. I have 2 more speakers left, I think, for the day. This is such an amazing event. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining and just creating this safe, helping me at least facilitate this safe space to be able to share the purpose behind our work and also the way we get to impact and serve others. So I'm truly blessed to be able to be connected with so many amazing humans in the world. My next speaker up is going to be Trish Springsteen. Trish, thank you so much for coming on, and tell us a little bit more regarding the purpose behind your work. I guess behind the scenes, how did you get into what you do today?
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I guess my purpose goes back to what I call the way back in the Jurassic period when I left high school, which was quite a long time ago. And the person that I was then was a very, very shy, introverted person. And if you spoke to anybody who knew me then and tell them what I do today, they would be rolling around on the floor laughing. Because from my perspective at that stage, there was no way I would ever be on something like this. There was no way that I would ever be out there sharing my message and speaking my heart out. Fast forward a few years, the pivotal point in my journey was when I started to believe in myself, when I understood that I actually did have a message, that I had something that I could share, that my message didn't have to be very huge, that I had lots of messages that were just for me, which other people could resonate with. And I found that believing in myself was extremely empowering. And that became the foundation of everything that I do, because that rolled into my understanding and my firm and passionate belief that speaking underpins everything you do. So I'm very passionate about helping people to get up there, to speak and share their message, to be the unicorn in their business, because I realized by believing in myself, I could absolutely accept that I was unique and I could stand up there and share my uniqueness and own it. And I realized that every one of us is unique and each of us has a unique viewpoint and unique expertise and experiences that we need to share so that we stand out from someone else who might be doing what we do. When I started my business, I was a speaker coach, and there are zillions of speaker coaches in this world, people, absolutely zillions. And there's zillions of business coaches and zillions of life coaches. You have to stand up and own your uniqueness be able to stand out from your competition, from other people. So my passion is to help everybody that I touch to own what they're doing and to share that out loud and be who they need to be and believe in themselves.
In yourself is such an important piece, and that's where everything begins. But I think we all share the common passion with podcasting for Tony, and then the speaking side too, because that's another way that we get to use the channel of speaking or the vehicle of our sharing that message, so that we get to do this. This is exactly what we're doing today: sharing information, sharing our experience, sharing our wisdom, sharing our message, our story, for someone else to be able to take away and see themselves in that, and then be able to implement, whether it's with the purpose of educating them, inspiring them, or entertaining them. So what are some of the things that you've seen in your work, Trish, that can help someone as a speaker, once they have some of that clarity of their messaging, to go out there and be able to do more of this? Because I feel like, just like, what you mentioned, if it's not a skill that's already been, honed on for, because I say everything is a skill at the end of the day. If you want to speak, better, you just speak. And the more you get to speak, you find your voice. So what are some of those things that you tell your speaker clients to be able to own the stage and to be authentic and not be afraid of what other people think of us, but be more focused on who is it that we're actually serving? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'm an introvert. Not only was I very shy, I was an introvert. I'm not so shy now, but I'm still an introvert. However, I know how to harness the energy to be able to get up there and communicate with people and to share my passion and to share them my message. One of the things I share with my people when they first start with me is a lot of people are uncertain, afraid even, not even how to start and how to get up to speak. And it's such a shame, because I tell people, you have to give your brand a voice. It's no good having your brand and your colors and your logo. People want to connect with the people and the person behind that. And one of the things I share is that, remember, it's not about you. It is always about the person that you might touch with a few words, a sentence, a few words, something that you say in your presentation, or when you are speaking with them one-on-one as a client. And when you remember and understand that it's not about you, that takes some of that fear away, because some of that fear is because of lack of control, and you feel you're not in control of what you're doing. But when you understand that you're doing there and you're being there for that person, then that gives you some of that control back. One of the things that we often get hit with as potential speakers is that little voice in our head that says, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. No one's going to listen to me. They're going to walk out. My peers are going to realize that maybe I don't know everything. Imposter syndrome is what they call it nowadays. Basically, it's just those negative voices. And to get over that, you need to realize that the statistics are saying 70% of people will experience imposter syndrome, and more likely it's 87%. So once you realize that it's not about you, it's about the person that you can touch, then you realize that you're not alone. Other people have those doubts. Other people are not sure about what they're doing. So then I introduce people to my 60 seconds of insane courage. That is 10 seconds to understand that those negative voices are in there. 10 seconds to realize it's a negative voice. It's not necessarily who you are. 10 seconds to say, stop. I'm not going to listen to that negative voice. I'm not going to go down that downward spiral. I am good enough. I have a message. People do want to hear me. I have a story that I can share. And then 10 seconds to smile. 10 seconds to say, yes, I will do that speaking thing. Yes, I will take that new opportunity. 60 seconds of insane courage. Understanding that it's not about you. It's about the people that need to hear your message. Whether you're speaking or writing, whatever it is, it's for them. And understanding that you're not alone. Everybody has those fears, whether they're great professional speakers, whether they're best CEOs, the top people out there, they've all experienced nerves, they all experienced imposter syndrome. so you too can be all that you want and be the unicorn in your business.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Trish. Thank you so much for all the amazing work that you're doing out there. But, yeah, I love the 60 seconds, right? Because that's just anything new, right? Once you get over that fear, you're like, oh, I'm actually okay. And I love the affirmations as well, because we get to reprogram ourselves with that. And then once you see the impact, I find that it's easier. At least that's been my experience with speaking as well. Once you hear that people do want to listen and they want to connect with you, then you get addicted to that good feeling of being able to be in service. So yeah, it's just another vehicle. Let's use our voice so that we can create impact. Thank you so much for all the beautiful work you're doing out there as well. And then my last but not least speaker for the day, Rianne Lacatena. Rianne, thank you so much for coming on, and same question for you. Looking forward to getting to know you better.
And thank you so much for having me. It's so wonderful to be in such good company, and to have this question asked is awesome. It's so much in alignment with what I do, to think about everything that you've been through and everything that you've gone through to help inform where you're headed. So I'm a holistic business coach, and what that means to me is related to what I've been through in my career. I started my career as a mental health therapist in the social work field. And so I worked with so many different populations of people. I work with teenage parents. I work with inner city youth who had musical talents. I worked with pediatric palliative care clients, children who have life-threatening illnesses, and help them through their disease and sometimes even their death. And I saw very quickly in the early parts of my career some of the most challenging circumstances that any human being could be through. And I learned that who you are anywhere is who you are everywhere. And some of the major lessons that I learned, that I'm so grateful to have been able to witness, things like death, dying, grief, money, politics, religion. I really got a crash course in life when I went through some of these experiences, and learning that the inner work that's necessary is going to affect your outer results, even in those difficult circumstances, was an incredible teacher to me. I learned the urgency of life. I learned the fragility of life. I learned the importance and the blessing of being able to actualize your purpose and fulfill your mission, and not to take life for granted. And so I've taken these and so many other lessons that I've learned in the beginning of my career and transitioned into business coaching eventually. And for some, that feels like a little bit of a left turn, as it were. But I see every single day the things that I learned during my mental health practice impacting how I help my business owners now. I also, along the way, picked up a Reiki certification. And so the way that I use my different certifications and education and training and experiences through life is that I help my business owners understand that business is a brilliantly disguised personal development plan. If we're going to have outer success, we need to do the inner work first. Who we're being in our relationships, in our parenting, in our experiences with our money, our experiences with everything that we do, that's impacting the way that our business is too, because our business is just one faction of who we are as a whole being. And so nothing is off the table in the clients that I work with. The clients that I work with will bring to me energy needs, health needs. They'll bring to me parenting needs. And if it's impacting them as a human being, then it's going to impact the results in their business. And so I really bring all of that together in service to the growth of their business too. I call the difference between masculine and feminine in business, that we need to master the feminine, the internal work, the energy work, the collaboration, the coordination, the care, all of those things that we're doing internally, as well as the masculine, which is the strategy, the tactics, the numbers, the KPIs. Both of those things matter. And so I help my clients integrate who they are into a whole entrepreneur or just a whole human, in order to have both the inner success and the outer rewards as well.
Wow, Rianne, love that. Oh my gosh, Missions United. I absolutely believe that there's definitely not a different way, but aligning some of the things that we have learned traditionally for how we should be building a business, or all the shoulds that we get handed over by just role modeling, and being able to align the holistic piece of growing a business. So that would be my next question for you. So based on your intuitive approach, or even your experience and methodology, how do you think we can grow a business that is more holistic to us? What are some of the principles that you've seen, or how do you wish personally what do you wish we changed in the traditional ways that we've done business that is no longer serving us? and we are embracing a new way to be more holistic in our business growth journey.
Yeah, you asked me so many questions in that question, and I want to answer all of them, so I'll do my best. So the first piece that I'll comment on is that so many business owners are focusing on the tactics, the strategies, the outer success, and that is important. We don't want to lose sight of it. But if we don't really begin where we are internally, our thoughts, our emotions, the way that we're thinking and experiencing ourselves and our circumstances, then we're going to repeat the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So there's so many business coaches out there that are focusing on that external, do this particular thing or make this particular shift, follow this particular framework, and then you will have success. And what instead we need to do is we need to learn how to be authentically who we are as a human being. We have some other CEOs in the room today who are talking about being authentically you, and that's really where the magic happens. And if you're not comfortable in your own skin, if you're not learning how to be the greatest expression of who you are meant to be, if you're simply copying other people or chasing the rate of return, then you're not going to be able to live into fully who you are. And so I help my business owners really get comfortable with, first of all, making the situation that they're in very neutral, and then learning how to decode their thoughts and their emotions and point them in a very particular way, choosing the perspective that they want to engage in their life to help create different actions. That's where that masculine comes back in, where we have the KPIs, the strategy, the numbers. Yes, we do need to attend to it, but we want to put it in the right order. Internal first, external second. And then we move into the activities, the implementation, and the results. And we practice this over and over again. I heard so many different beautiful things from the different entrepreneurs who are here today about, yes, implementation, but also authentically who you are. And so it's the both and, it's not an either or. There are so many people who are doing one or the other and bringing those two worlds together through understanding your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and the results that you want by first being authentically you. That's when you're able to step into success in entrepreneurship. And you have some beautiful principles that I know we both agree on. The importance of living through your mission, the importance of having a strong set of values, the importance of boundaries and learning what is my emotional boundary, what is my energetic boundary, what are my boundaries around relationships, but then also what am I looking to create in my life as well from those implementation aspects as well. So it's really the both and approach as opposed to the either or.
Thank you so much for answering that question. I had a few questions in there, but I love it. Yes, absolutely. And I think what I heard you say is now what we're understanding, right, as we're growing through the level of maturity, even in the personal space, development space, or in the business growth development space, is the harmonization, the alignment between both. Nothing is bad, right? But everything, what's that song? Everything on the extreme is not good for you, baby, right? So that harmony and alignment is always so much more beautiful, and you're more authentic and intuitive, and you'll find that you work very smart and not hard. I think that's another that mindset thing that we need to wash away from kind of what we have seen prior as well. So beautiful work as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. We've actually, I want to thank all my amazing speakers today. We've actually reached the end of this event. I want to go back to each one of our speakers and get what I'm feeling intuitively to ask you today is, if you could share one impactful lesson that your school of life has taught you, and then after you answer that, whatever comes up, don't think too hard about it. Let your heart kind of lead the way here. And then if you can share, where is it that people can further continue the conversation with you? So I'll go back to Relita.
Awesome. So the one tidbit that I would leave with anybody is to be a lifelong learner. You can never know everything. It is great to continue your education, to learn more, to research, to do in abundance, right? So that you're able to understand the nuances of business and where you might end up falling in some of those situations. So I would say be a lifelong learner, continue to educate yourself and continue to do the trainings that are necessary for you to propel your growth, both internally and externally. The location where you can actually find or continue conversation with me is at www.twinpearlsconsulting.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can look me up by my name, Relita Clark. And then on Facebook and Instagram, it is Twin Pearls Consulting Agency, again with the Z.
All right, beautiful. Thanks so much, Relita. And I will tag everyone, and everybody is going to have a chance to share your link. So one of our values is connection. So absolutely connect. Let this event just be that conversation starter if you are not acquainted yet. And also with our audience watching, absolutely connect and find ways to further be a resource to one another beyond this event. So thank you so much, Relita. I'm going to go to Tony next.
Yeah, my lesson is really pretty simple. It's to take small steps. And so my mom grew up in a time of, obviously we had the pandemic a few years ago, but she went through a very traumatic time back in the 30s when polio was going around. And so when she grew up, she couldn't walk when she was a baby. And so her vision was to always be able to wear high heels and kind of be more part of society and move around. And so when she was at Kernan's Hospital down in Maryland, they started off with clay to kind of build her strength. Then she was able to swim, build up more strength into finally the point where she was able to walk between two poles and get on her feet, and then moving to the point where she was able to accomplish her vision of being able to walk and wear those high heels. And so that was a lesson I always learned from her way back then, which is to take small steps. And so anytime there's a challenge, you want to break it down and take those small steps and build momentum. So if you're trying to do something that's bigger than you, which hopefully you are, because you want to have a vision that's bigger than yourself, you want to break it down. So certainly growing a business, anything you want to make an impact, my advice is to take those small steps. And that's something that served me at the corporate level. It's something that serves me today. I used to be a professional violinist. It's served me then, because anything that's overwhelming, just break it down to those small steps. And that's my story. And so if anyone wants to learn a little bit more about that story, as well as what I do, I have a link to a manifesto called the Small Steps Manifesto, where I talk about that. And I also have links to different things I'm doing in podcasting and AI. And so to get those resources, go to meettonyg.com, and would love to connect with you. Feel free to connect with me on social media there, or there's also a place to submit a form. So it's meet, MEET, TonyG.com, because of course no one can say or spell my last name. So thanks again for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tony. Beautifully said. Moving on to Deb next.
Yes. I guess my tip for today would be the single most important thing you can do in your business is knowing your unique genius. And it all starts with you. So your whole business really starts with you, your strengths, your mission, your vision. It's like the tightrope to your business. If you don't have that down, you will have a business that feels really difficult. And to help you with this, I have a free quiz, a free 2-minute quiz that you can take to discover what I call it, your number one marketing genius is for attracting and delighting clients. And you need to have an open mind, because it may not be what you think. So my resource you can get at my website, which is www.imattermarketing.com, or go direct to imattermarketing.com/MAM, MAM quiz. And I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deb. Moving on to Robin next. One impactful lesson that your school of life has taught you, Robin.
The best investment that you can ever invest in is you. You are your best investment. So I wouldn't be here today if I didn't invest in my coaches and mentors. And be authentically you. The world needs more of you. Stop silently suffering. Break the silence. You are not alone. You never were, and you never will be. You can reach me on all social platforms at Robin Engelson. That's ROBYNENGELSON. That's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then you can also visit my website at robinengelson.com. And don't forget to listen to my podcast, the Robin Engelson Podcast, on all outlets. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Carolyn?
I think the thing that I learned was to be grateful. And to be grateful, I need to look at every experience with appreciation, even if it's a bad experience, because I never know how or when that experience might be put to good use for me or for another. You can learn more about me, and gratitude leads to forgiveness, and forgiveness leads to peace. You can find out more about me at my website. In fact, I have a free ebook, In Search of Forgiveness, at carolyncjjones.com. And I'm getting ready to give a course, Sacred Spaces of an Open and Forgiving Heart. And you can look at that and get more information at carolyncjjones.com/sacred-spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.
So many lessons that I have learned, and you want me to bring in one. Okay. The one thing would be to remember it's not about you. It's about the person that you can touch. It's about the person that needs to hear your words, about the person that needs to maybe read something that you've written either in a blog, on social media, or in your book. 3 things I'd say to you. Believe in yourself. It's so freaking empowering. Accept feedback, because with feedback, you will grow. You want constructive, supportive feedback. That means surround yourself with like-minded people, people that are going to push you, people that are going to catch you, people that will give you honest feedback, and people that will be there to say, wow, great, you are doing what you need to do. To contact me, listen, people, if you haven't realized, I absolutely adore purple, so just look for the purple person. I'm all over social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. You will find me under Trish Springsteen Purple. My website is up there. If you go to my website, there's a free ebook to download. I'm launching a very special speaker package this year. Just PM me, leave a comment somewhere and say, Trish, I heard you. I'd like to know about your speaker package. I'd like to connect with you because I would just love to connect with you as well. Thank you so much. I'm coming from Australia, people, so I think I'm doing pretty well for 3:00 in the morning.
Wow. Wow. You are a champ. We're so grateful that you're here. That's what I'm saying. Talk about commitment, right? Being up at 3 for the mission and the cause and the vision that you have. Wow. Thank you so much, Trish. I love purple. It's one of my brand colors. It's the spirituality alignment. And then the red, which I'm wearing today, is the fire, the ambition, the vision, all of that, those things that drive us. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then last but not least, Rianne.
Hi, yes. I would say that the imparting wisdom that I would offer everybody is that you don't need to overthink it. Everyone is just trying to figure it out anyway, and you may as well just get curious and have fun and enjoy the process along the way, because we're all just trying to figure it out. So stop overthinking it. Just enjoy life. Just enjoy your business. Just enjoy what you have in front of you, and you'll have more fun in the process. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me, my name is Rayanne Lacatina, so I'll probably spell that for you. It's RAEANNE-LACATENA. And you can reach me at RayanneLacatina.com, on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. I do have a free ebook on my website right now that was endorsed by Tony Robbins. And so if you want to check it out, I'm giving away the chapter for free for right now. And you can get on my wait list for my book, The Integrated Entrepreneur, which is coming out April 10th.
Thank you so much, Leanne, and beyond grateful for all our speakers today. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your time with us. I find that time it's the most important commodity that we have, and we can't get back any of that again. So I'm so appreciative for all the messages you shared today, and definitely connect further with one another. And also to you as the audience, thank you so much for joining, and share this event with other people that you really find can really benefit from connecting with our speakers today, but also most importantly, from all the messages that you've heard. I'm always grateful. And before I end this event, I would love to also introduce you to our community expert program in our community. I'm going to play a video for that, and you can stay tuned to listen to that. And beyond grateful for joining us. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you with another event with another amazing lineup of speakers just like today. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed, beautiful rest of your day. to be one of our community experts for our biggest global community of purpose-driven entrepreneurs and CEOs who are led by purpose, and of course also learn how to align their profits in their companies and in their businesses. Their legacy through entrepreneurship is really their way, their vocation, in how they actually get to do more good in the world. In our Community Expert C-Suite program, we have included amazing benefits for you as a purpose-driven entrepreneur, where in our audience of over 30,000 purpose-driven entrepreneurs, I warmly introduce you to high-level quality connections that can help you collaborate, further advance your cause, and also align your purpose and your profit as well. Another benefit for joining our community as a community expert is the connection between the free and also the paid speaking opportunities that we add into our membership every week, so that you get to create magic with you speaking and sharing your message with other audiences as well. This way, leveraging a lot of those high-level relationships to grow your own business and to be able to speak alongside the amazing work that you are doing on the day-to-day. We also invite you to our twice-a-year conferences. You'll be one of our keynote speakers as part of the community benefits, where of course you get visibility, showcasing the work that you're doing, but also being able to connect further with amazing purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Another benefit of being a member in the community is that you get to be featured in our monthly magazine, and you get to be a contributor to our magazine as well. And then lastly, of course, you get to participate in our community speaking events that we host every week inside our community, so that you can further share your message, but also, most importantly, be able to constantly connect to amazing people that you can add to your network to further nurture those relationships and form amazing strategic partnerships in the long-term growing of your business as well. In order to find out more information and ways to join our Community Expert program, feel free to go to my website, elonalaparicoaching.com/events, and you'll be able to get more information around some of these benefits, but also new benefits that we're always adding to our Community Expert program, so that again, you can align yourself with the right community that's going to support you, but also most importantly, help you nurture and grow your purpose and your profit as well this year. Thank you so much for watching.